Well, good day. It's been a week or two since we've done a short video, so we're going to talk about the events that's been going on. Reason why we haven't been out to do a video, we've been getting a little rain, a little weather. Kind of nice to have, but you know, we know what's in the weather, we know what's going on. So it makes it a little bit more difficult. One of the topics that came up in the news feed, federal agency says contaminated soil and water could have increased cancer risks near Coldwater Creek. It's in St. Louis County in Missouri. Well, all of the test results are on the page on Mid-American Land Restoration. They're on Facebook. I did several articles on it, and then I posted the results of the testing. Now we're going to talk about that issue. Working with the microbes for this issue is very simple. Nice part about working with nature, you don't have to worry about any ill effects of working with her. No poisoning, strictly nature, nice and easy. It does not take a rocket scientist to do it. Anybody along that area can be treating your own soil and water. Why? Showing up in the soil, showing up in the water. So it's going to show up in your food. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to take to get everybody to understand that, but we're going to keep trying. Natural, beneficial, reoccurring microbes. Those are the key elements to survival. Naturally, beneficially, reoccurring microbe. Reason why, for so many reasons, nature does not have a split DNA. It is nature. Lab produced microbe is just that. It's lab produced, GMO, genetically modified, genetically altered, playing with the DNA of nature. Never a good result, but we've got to really look at doing something with our microbes. Getting these microbes down, saving the trees. Trees are our number one oxygen producer, and we're losing a vast number of trees. That's been going on for several years now. Trees are absorbing what's in the atmosphere, and they're having issues with it. We've got to get in front of it. People have got to understand it. People have got to realize we're on a ticking schedule. The more contaminated things become, the harder it's going to be to grow a crop. It's going to be more difficult to do anything positive. We're 8 years in with Fukushima. Test results are still showing Chernobyl's having issues. What people need to realize, nuclear meltdown's forever. It's not going to go away. It's what you all do with that knowledge, and understanding that knowledge is what's going to make any effort in turning things around. What goes up must come down. It's called gravity. It's simple. Jet streams blow from the west to the east. That puts North America, Canada, and the United States in what they called the dead zone of Fukushima. Dead zone. Cancer. People need to understand. Cancer rates are going up. Everybody's dealing with it. Families all across this country have dementia with them. Dementia and cancer are big contributors to the radiation. We keep drinking and eating toxic food and water. It affects our body. And those of us that are outdoors, atmospheric conditions, we're getting the atmospheric, we're breathing it, we're dealing with it every day. It's what you guys do with that knowledge is all on you. Whether or not you decide to step up and do something is going to depend on our elderly and our young. Why do I say that? It's proven. Our elderly have abused their bodies. The immune systems are weakened, and they're more susceptible to issue. Our young, our grandchildren, and our kids themselves are not fully developed. So they're affected a lot easier than those of us in our middle years. And sadly, we're abusing the whatever out of ourselves to keep things going. So when you look at the effect of everything, and I said it early on in a lot of our radio shows I was doing back then, I gave the ocean 10 years. We're at the 8-year mark, and look at the number of dead sea life that's showing up. Now, that ocean's a big area, or a big contributor, and with Fukushima still leaking and not going to be able to shut it down, we have an issue. With Fukushima leaking into the ocean every day, leaking into the atmosphere, we know it's going into the atmosphere because they can't get anybody into the buildings to do anything about it, because guess what? Fukushima's still melting robots. It's too hot for human. It's too hot for robot. They're not going to be able to do anything about it for quite a while yet, and they know that. It's up to us to want to get involved and get going and turning things around. It's astronomically unthinkable for someone like myself that knows what's going on. I know what we need to do to turn things around, but getting other people involved, nobody seems to care. You know, we're doing the YouTube channel, we're doing the YouTube videos, we're trying to get to a different demographic group of people to understand that we've got an issue. But nobody's paying any attention, and nobody's getting involved. The page is falling down on numbers, which is kind of ironic. I discovered one of the articles that I put out yesterday, and I shared the info, and I gave a little side note to it to make everybody understand and think a little bit more outside the box. That particular article, a little while ago, the number of people reached is really low. The number of people engaged is medium. A little bit of response, no big numbers. But ironically, the numbers of people that have tagged the like or me, Joe, or whatever for the article is quite a bit higher than the supposed number of people reached. But what really gets me is the number of articles on this, number of shares on this article. The number of shares on that article are 30% higher than the number of people reached. That just goes to show that some of the information I'm seeing makes me think that we've got to do something quick, because there's areas of Facebook that provide controversy. And yeah, I know my page is very controversial, dealing with the environment and the issues. I'm not into the political agenda of the everyday narrative. I'm outside the box. And I may be in the gray area of the box. May not happen, but it could very well happen. So many of these pages are being deleted from Facebook. So if it ends up being that case and I'm all of a sudden gone and you don't get to get any news, just be aware. You're going to have to share and do a lot of sharing from the page to keep it going. People have got to realize and understand the news that's in that page can be dealt with. All of the different forms of contamination, chemical reactions, the green algae plumes, algae in general, can all be cleaned up naturally. That naturally is just the way to go. We're not going to have any of the big backward effects of it. And then you go in, and then you realize that once you get into the natural realm enough with the microbes and working with livestock, cattle, even our pets, our dogs or cats, everything in general, working with microbes. Microbes and parasites don't get along. Parasites get ate up. So when you're looking at deworming, trying to keep your animal in health, microbes, probiotic, parasites, no. It's a win-win on both sides. In the agricultural world with our cattle and our livestock, swine, it doesn't matter. The animal gets reset to where they can absorb more of the nutrients of what they're eating. Healthier animal, and they end up having to eat less because they're absorbing more of the nutrients of what they're intaking. You cut back on a feed bill, that's a pretty good option. So there's just a few little things microbes are beneficial for. Yeah, our field work. We get a solid base in our soil, get our soil back, we can get our crop back without the use of chemical. We start cutting back on the chemical, we don't have ill effects of it in our food supply. Then you don't see the algae plumes of the chemical runoff into our lakes and streams. It's still a win-win. I still ain't figured out why people haven't gotten involved. We'll keep working at it. So everybody needs to understand them. And I'm still waiting on phone calls. You can call in, place an order. You can get involved. And you can reap some reward. Another article we had that got some attention. Over 300 dolphins found dead on the coast of Peru. And here's why. That article gives you a large explanation of what's going on with sonar. What everybody needs to realize with sonar, everything in general, life all the way across the broad version, we deal in frequency. Life is frequency. Cells react frequency. Life in general is a frequency. So when you've got ill effects of frequency, it's going to show up. And it's showing up in the dolphins. Frequency. Well, that's another thing. Side note, 5G's coming, and that's frequency. There won't be any place on the planet that's going to be safe from it. It's all about frequency. And just like everything, it's about life and survival. And what do you want to do about it? I think everybody needs to get involved. I still think that education is key, and it's very important for people to get involved. You know, political fight for survival is not nothing to sneeze at, but we still got a campaign going. Campaign isn't doing much. Nobody's doing anything with it. So I still need to, again, ask why. Why are people not wanting to get involved? Why are people not understanding the issues? Why do everybody just want to sit in their own little bubble and think somebody else is going to take care of it? You know? If you're that type of individual that just thinks everybody's going to take care of it for you, know this. You can still donate to the campaign. You can be a quiet member in the background. It doesn't matter. Campaign's pinned at the top of the Facebook page on Mid-American Land Restoration. You can share these videos. You can look up the articles that we discuss in these videos. We can still get involved in so many aspects of everyday life for survival. You know, again, it's going to take a mass group of people, but survival, I would think, would be at the top of your to-do list. Everybody has an adequate supply of agendas, things that need to be done, things you want to do, things that should be done, things that ought to get your attention. But yet, we can't get anybody to understand it. Need to understand the importance of it and realize that what you're doing there, what everybody's doing, plays a key role in survival. So I want to remind you, with all of these little short clip videos, Mid-American Land Restoration on Facebook, pinned article at the top of the page. You can donate to it. You can reach out to us. You can message me on Facebook. You can go to the main website, midamericalandrestore.com. Look at the business aspect of everything on that side. Stay up to date with the news on the Facebook. Then you can watch the videos to see what we're talking about with the daily occurrence around the planet. It's very vital, it's very important that everybody gets involved, because them young'uns are depending on us. Young ones deserve the right to survival. It's all about survival. So, if you want somebody to do something, go ahead and hit that campaign page. If you want to get involved, that's great. Get involved. But we still need the donations. We need to do something. Things are happening. Things have got to be cleaned up and taken care of. Till next time, y'all have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend.